What's up, YouTubers in the vinyl community? All right, I realize I watched a lot of other videos. Can't even talk right now. I'm all pumped up, I guess. And people usually always introduce themselves saying, "Hey, I'm so and so. Welcome to my channel." You know what? And I don't want to be a total plagiarist here, if that's even if you can say it that way, but I think some people want to know your name. So I might start doing that sometimes. So my name's Ty. Welcome to my channel. Alright, that being said, I scored a grail yesterday while trying to get another grail. My record store is a really unique shop. They have really good stuff. The guy that runs the place is very knowledgeable about every genre of music that I'm into, and I'm into a lot of different genres of music. And it's funny because I guess there's this guy that's trying to bring in records to show him, like, oh, do you have this? Like, trying to stump him, and most of the time the guy's like, got it, I already have it. And I've seen some proof in it. Like one time I was telling him how I've been listening to this Japanese guitar player, I can't think of his name right now, and he's like, oh, I have that album, that's a great album. And I was like, oh, you already have it? Damn it. But so anyways, great store, but they have a very strong on social media. They kill it on social media, and on their Instagram, their Facebook, and they're even on TikTok. And go check them out. It's called Piranha Records, and they're a great store if you're ever in the Austin area. They're in Round Rock, which is a little bit outside of Austin, but it's pretty much just right up the road. Just go north on 35, and you take Sam Bass, and you'll hit it. So anyways, what they'll do is when they get a new restock or just their new albums in general, they'll do just a quick video, just flipping through the new stuff they got, the new restock or new used stuff. So they have posted a little run, and I've seen this album. I've been trying to get on vinyl for a while. I don't want to spill the beans yet, but I will say the only person that I've seen in the vinyl community that has it is JC, and he has some albums. It's funny. He has some. It's interesting. He has at least 2 records I don't have that I'm like, oh gosh, you have that one? Nice. One. He has Midnight Blue, Kenny Burrell. He has the version that is very hard to get. I mean, you can get it, but you're going to be paying a lot. So anyways, but he has this other record, which I won't say until I get it. I was going to get this one, and it was a little bit more expensive than I thought because it's an import. And I know Stunty was like, stop saying import, but they got the big sticker now on them saying import. So basically I'm just going to start calling the ones that are more expensive. Because it seems like, I don't know if it's probably the shipping fees and stuff like that. But, anyways, I'm like, oh, well, I was going to get the expensive one. As I'm walking by the new arrivals, the used stuff, I look over, and what do I see? The box set of Shut Up and Play Your Guitar with all 3 albums. Now, I have Shut Up and Play Your Guitar some more. That's the only one I had out of this. I didn't know how many there were. I knew there was at least 2. I thought there could be 3, but I thought there might even be more. I wasn't 100% sure, but I always was on the lookout for those. The last copy I got was in Santa Cruz at Street Life, like $4. And so I found they have this in the new arrival in the Z set, and it's like, I think sometimes people don't even go to the Z part in the new arrivals. But, and check it out, it's kind of like similar to Joe's Garage. You open it up, and then it's got the 3 sleeves in here to each album, which I was hoping. Kind of a little disappointed it doesn't have the album covers. Maybe it did at one time and the guy kept them. I don't know, but this is the way you have a slip for each album. And then then it has the title up here of each album. And I'm playing the first one right now. It's cool because it tells you all the musicians on each song. And there's some live stuff on here. On one of the other ones, Steve Vai's playing guitar. Yeah, Steve Vai's on this one also. On Hog Heaven. It's cool because you have Steve Vai on rhythm guitar. But he also has Ray White on rhythm guitar. Ike Willis on rhythm guitar. So, and then 2 keyboards. I mean, talk about, and then bass drums. And it's cool because it tells you the guitar he used for which song. So, like, he's using his Les Paul with the DiMarzio pickups. Handmade copy SG. So that's the main two he used on this whole album. I know on one of the other ones he's using this Strat, which I think also has DiMarzio pickups. But super stoked to get this. Now I'm kind of curious. I have Joe's Garage. I wonder if it's the same. I thought this one actually had the albums on the inside, so let's do a little tiny research here. Sorry guys, like you don't be looking at my dome here for too long. Way. So I got the Joe's Garage a while. I got this one a long time ago. See, this one does, so who knows? Maybe it did have the albums. Or not. Maybe I'll look one up online and see what their layout is. And the way this one was is Joe's Act 1 on the first double gatefold, and then on the next one is Acts 2 and 3. Which I got this long time ago. And I got it for $14.89 in the mint condition. That was probably a little bit more now. I'm just looking at it. This is cool outlet. Zappa was way ahead of his time, I feel like, in so many ways. Like, there's a book here. Let me get this book real quick. Frank Zappa book. This is such a good book. You'll read this one day. It's really easy. It's such a good book. And if you don't read it in one day, you're fine. You can read it in two. But, it's pretty cool because he starts off with saying, here's the things of me that are true and things of me that are not true. There's some stuff, some rumors, I guess, that were floating around back in the day. And he talks about how, they actually, his dad worked at, I'm pretty sure the Naval Post, there's like this Naval Postgraduate School area that has, they do work for like the CIA and weird shit. And it's the Post Naval Graduate School. They have a lot of other stuff inside there that's whatever, who knows what's going on over there. But Frank Zappa's dad worked over there. I think his dad was like an explosives expert, actually, something along the lines like that. But their family was very poor. And Frank Zappa's family, his dad and him, would go to Salinas, where I'm from, where I was born at, and they would follow the trucks that were, these semi trucks that are taking the cauliflower to the produce sites, and sometimes a fucking chunk of cauliflower would break off, or a big chunk, and their dad would save that so his mom could make soup. So they're talking like seriously. It talks about it in this book. Super, super broke, and he talks about how he almost how he practically blew his nuts off. As a kid, he's in this little. He's outdoors. I think he might be in some little shed or something, and he's making his own little device, and this thing goes off. And he was making this device like between his legs. And he said, luckily, it could have been a lot worse. But he was just a crazy little kid, you know what I mean? And this book goes from him, his upbringing, and then just gets into the music realm. And it has so many cool stories in here about being on the road and his views and opinions on things. And talks about stuff he was inventing. And he was trying to get a hold of NASA so he could tell NASA his ideas he was inventing. Now, one of his inventions in here is so fucking badass, and it's all in this book. I've probably said that way too many times now. And he's like, I want people to have because message machines are already out. This is for you young kids. What that is, your house phone, you would call and it would be like, hello, so and so, is like your voicemail, but it would just record it onto an actual cassette tape, and you would play back the messages, literally, and then delete them or just record over the whatever. He thought it would be a good idea if you could just call a phone number, the Frank Zappa hotline, and they would send your album through the phone, and you would record the whole album onto your own high-quality cassette tape on your message machine and get a whole album. Well, what ended up happening? Your phone line getting music? It's the fucking internet. And I'm trying to, in a weird way. Now you get it wireless and all this stuff from your modem. But back in the day, you plug your phone line into your computer or whatnot. You know what I mean? So I just thought, you still got to plug your phone line, I'm pretty sure, into your modem. But, so either way, he wanted a hologram for board meetings so you could see a full hologram. I'm pretty sure they already have that. But this was like so smart, like musically, and then just just a real genius. So, and it's pretty cool that we have music from him. So, onto the topic that can Frank Zappa like shred? Like, because it seems like he writes something on here saying, you know, a lot of people thought, I guess they must have just been listening to lyrics, not listening to the music. And he's not your typical like Joe Satriani, Steve Vai shredder, even though Steve Vai got to play with him. That's why I think Steve Vai is really unique, because he got to he worked with Frank Zappa. But Frank Zappa, when you first hear it, you're like, what is he doing? You can't do that on guitar. That's like illegal. He's breaking the rules, you know. But his playing so unorthodox and so unpredictable that it almost will bother you at first, because you're like what you're expecting the guitar to do is definitely not going to do. And then he's if the band is modulating to a different key, he's going to do that. He's not just farting around in one key, which is nothing wrong with that. I do that a lot. He's outlining trippy chords. He's using tons of trippy rhythms, because on music you have 12 tones to work with. That's like the chromatic scale. It's all the black and white keys on your piano. But mainly a lot of music's just composed from the major scale, which is only 7 notes. So with an octave repeated at the end. So there's a limit, is my point. Rhythmically, there's an infinite amount of rhythms. So that's where your playing can be very unique, as far as, you know, like I said, you're not going to play a note someone else hasn't played yet. Until you get to like microtones, which India doesn't even use a major scale, totally on a different wavelength. And that's a whole other episode. But Frank Zappa is doing a lot of weird shit with his guitar that on the musician level and just compose level, being on the spot to improvise the weird stuff he's improvising, it's genius. It's better than being a guitar shredder, in my opinion. He is being a musician, you know what I mean? And I love shredding guitar. Freaking all of them they're musicians too, but a lot of those guitar players will evolve to do something different than just that. You listen to even Buckethead. Buckethead has a lot of slow, really chill music that's awesome. It's not just pure shred, where he's playing whole notes, really just totally mellow on guitar. And Frank Zappa has that also. But Frank Zappa is definitely unique to where he would pick in a really weird way. I think he would use a metal pick even. Could be wrong, but if you watch the way he picks, he almost does circular motions instead of back and forth. And I do a combination of a little bit of everything. But my picking, the way I pick, is not nearly as straight. But it worked for him. He would, and Dweezil Zappa, who figures his dad's stuff out, he said he had to change the way he picked, because he couldn't even, to play his dad's stuff he thought smoother, he uses this technique called like hybrid pickings, where you go on the one string, down, up, down, down to the next string. So you get a 2-string arpeggio in there. And I always forget this damn guitar player's name. He's out of Australia, and a person always comments on there. But he uses that technique, and that's what Dweezil borrowed. So anyways, and so I'm stoked. Got this. I got to go back and get the other grail once I get a couple more funds together. I'm playing Geek this Thursday, so with a new artist I haven't played for before. I've seen him perform, and he had hit me up a few times last year to play for him, and each time he had hit me up, I was already booked for that day to play, either for myself or with someone else. It was kind of frustrating, because one night he hit me up, and he was playing a nice, really pretty big venue, and I was already obligated. You know what I mean? I couldn't cancel out, and but the venue I was playing was close to the bigger venue, so I'm kind of cracking. I could have played there, you know what I mean? But either way, it all worked out. And so, anyways, get to do that, and gonna probably use that to get the other Holy Grail, which I'll show you guys. So again, I try to keep these videos sweet, but I love music. I'm passionate about music, which maybe you can tell, or maybe you can't. And I mean, you guys are too, which is awesome. That's why, you know, I mean, we're all chilling here on the YouTube and the vinyl community. It's crazy, again, how much stuff is coming out on vinyl. I'm trying to tap out, I swear. And then this album is an album. It's my stepdad who's passed away now, he one of the last gifts he got for me was this album on CD. And don't worry, I can't wait to get this. Like I said, JC already has this album on vinyl, and it's funny how some people in the vinyl community, well, it's just common, where like, oh, they have that, and you don't have it yet, or you who knows if you'll ever be able to get it. But that's part of it. You know what I mean? That's what makes it so sweet. If we all just had every single record we wanted, it wouldn't be so, there wouldn't be the term Holy Grail. You know what I mean? So that's why it has to be that way, which is awesome. So anyways, we'll try to finish this cup of coffee, I guess, for a little bit. I'm going to listen to more of this Frank Zappa, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. And it's truly, like I said, Frank Zappa sometimes, he has a big catalog also. So like, if you go, should I listen to Frank Zappa? For me, the best stuff was the instrumental stuff. A lot of my friends were listening to Frank Zappa when I was younger. And I'm like, I don't get it. I mean, I can tell it's good musicianship, but this sounds like I'm listening to Broadway or like a weird play or something, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. It seemed more like very theatrical because the Mothers of Invention, the way their singing was. But even though, so I remember I even have Mothers live at the Fillmore. And I remember putting that on, I was like trying to force myself to like it, but my ears just were not ready for it. Even though there was a couple, like some of the guitar parts, are like, damn, but overall, I wasn't connecting with it. It wasn't until like a good friend of mine, Pierre, came over, and he was like, he knew how I was, I just love instrumental. I love all music, but instrumental music, he knows I'm a big fan of. So he put in Black Napkins. He's, I'll check this out. And that's what sold me right there. Zoota Lores was the first Frank Zappa album I really dived into, because that's not the most theatrical type of singing. It's like The Torture Never Stops, really cool song. Then there's some funny stuff to the album with some cool, it's a rad album. Now, there's Sleep Dirt is another really good one. And then that will kind of, I felt like, there's another one with some instrumental stuff. But anyways, that kind of got me, you opened up my ear to other stuff. Which still are more, like I said, these Shut Up and Play Your Guitars albums are the ones that, the holy grails for me, because it's just all instrumental. It's Frank Zappa just killing it with his band. And again, not that I don't like his singing, it's just, I connected to his playing his band's music more than I connected to his lyrics first. And then later on I connected to the lyrics and stuff. His lyrics are so ahead of their time that if you're connecting with those lyrics at a younger age, that's good. That's a good thing. I think my head just wasn't mature enough, or I should say mature enough, just wasn't. He's on a big, sings about a lot of different topics, making fun of certain things that, you can tell he's an educated person, even though he has like no law, law degree or, some freaking fancy certificate to show, you know what I mean? But even when he worked with Nicholas Slonomsky, who, this book right here, I'm sure it should be right here. Yes. Hold on. The Thesaurus of Scales and Melodic Patterns by Nicholas Slonomsky. Now, I've had the pleasure of my teacher, Dr. Anderson, who had a fancy certificate. This was his teacher. So it was pretty cool when I got this book and I brought it to class, and he's like, "Oh, wow, you got this. He was like, ties on the freaking, going down the rabbit hole way hardcore." And, he's like, that was my teacher in college. And he said the guy had a photographic memory. And they would test him out on it. And they would take him, they would grab any obscure type of music from the library at the college. Stuff there's no way this dude could have memorized by now. And they would just literally show him that, shut it. And he could play every single note on the 2 pages and be like, all right, show me the next 2. And my teacher had seen this multiple times. This guy was a genius. And, so it was cool that I got to learn from somebody that learned from this guy who worked with Frank Zappa. And Frank Zappa, when he worked with this guy was so blown away. He has like, well, Frank Zappa, where did you go to music school? Juilliard, And Frank Zappa was like, I didn't go to any music school. I think he took like a band class in high school. But again, that shows how much of a genius he was, like a real genius. And so yeah, and I feel like every person's a genius, realistically. Everyone's really unique in different ways. Your brain is doing crazy shit just to there's electricity shocking your nerves to move. That's fucking weird. You know, it's amazing. That's some genius, crazy. Do you know anything about electricity? Well, your brain knows every detail about it because that's what runs your body. So either way, um, I feel like other artists though, like I don't want to say anyone in particular, but usually they're like really good at their art. And then you hear some stuff in their personal life that's really none of our business, but you're like, gosh damn, motherfucker's a car wreck, or she's a car wreck, which is normal. We're all kind of a car wreck in different ways. And so, Frank Zappa, he smoked like a train. He drank a lot of coffee. He probably didn't spend as much time with his kids as he could have. You know what I mean? Which again, I'm not judging him for. Just maybe someone could say, man, Frank Zappa, all he cared about, he's just big on music. You know what I mean? But he wasn't the biggest family man, as far as maybe that might have been not his genius side, because he even writes about in the book how he hated out going to dinners, and he hated Christmas and Thanksgiving because it just took time away from the studio. I mean, this dude's is like such a diehard. He talks about how his and I'm just gonna keep going. Screw it. Let's fucking make this a Frank Zappa special. He talks about, and I'm not gonna give too much of the book, but a story it seems like his house was like the cool house because his kids Dweezil were younger, and the other two boys, can't think of their names. Right, there's other kids. It seems like that was the house that you if you lived in the Hollywood Hills or wherever that spot was, and you were friends with the kid, that was the house to go chill out. You know what I mean? You could probably get away with a few more things over at that place. And so all the food was always gone. Frank Zappa was like, hey, kids, come over here. It seems like the kids would get super stoned, look and get munchies and eat all Frank Zappa's food. So he said in the middle of the night, he would finally go to eat some food, taking a break from the studio, and there'd be no food, so they put a fridge in the studio so he could have some food of his own. Well, the kids would raid the fridge down there, so they still just be eating like peanut butter and like cold spaghetti. But so anyways, this book right here, for if you need guitar nerds or musical nerds, it's no tablature, it's all sheet music. But what's crazy about this guy said, so you have your major scale, and then all the 7 modes are derived from the major scale because there's 7 notes. So there's 7 different positions to start that one scale from, so you can spread them across the whole guitar neck. And there's a bunch. There's diminished, there's augmented, there's harmonic minor, there's melodic minor. Go on for days. This guy, but there is a limit that way. This guy just made up his own scales, and he just numbered them all. Scale 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, okay, you're thinking, okay, what do you make? Like 40 scales? 50? 100? No, let's just keep going. Scale 1098. Scale 1099. Scale 1100. I mean, he just made up all his own scales. And what's crazy, you hear these from Friday the 13th. This is where composers get their melody ideas. Like, every horror movie you've ever heard came from here. I swear. And what the crazy thing is, even if they didn't steal it from here, this guy already, because he made up so many scales, it's in there. Right when I started digging, I started taking notes, writing which ones were the trippy ones. And then once you transcribe them, it's better to play it on piano first if you can, because they're pretty trippy to do on guitar. And interpolation, good for guitar, and it's just super weird, but it's badass. And Frank Zappa used a lot of these patterns on guitar, so you know what I mean, way trippy stuff, and super badass. So anyways, I'll try to leave it on that one. And the other, there's a lot of cool books to get. The other one I haven't probably dove into as much as I should be. It's at Ted Green Chord Chemistry. This book's not too thick, but once you start digging into it, it's like, yeah, it's crazy that it's a good thing this book isn't any thicker. And he has a few other books too, I'm realizing. So anyways, some cool stuff for you musical nerds out there. All right. Stay positive, play lots of music, and you don't have to do it on vinyl. If you don't have vinyl, just stream some good music. That's usually how we do it in the bathroom. If you're getting ready for the day and want to throw in some music, sometimes I'll crank up my vinyl super loud, but I hate it once it's on the dead wax. So you're like, oh shit, it's easy sometimes just got a little Bluetooth in the bathroom. I don't know you fucking guys need to know this shit, but either way, you can maybe throw some cool tunes on, start the day off with some killer vibes. You know, sometimes I'll listen to some, you know what I mean, some of the news or one of the info things I like to hear. Uh, Preferably if I want Breaking Point is a good one. If I am gonna get broke off with what's going on in the freaking realm of madness, but if I can, I try to keep it music. You know what I mean? To start the day off. Really, you know what I mean? So, all that being said, see you guys next time, and have a great day. Bye.